views and opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Dinar would have had serious consequences for the world financial system, but may also have empowered the people of Africa, something black activists say the US wants to avoid at all costs.
We're slicing cake. We're slicing cake. We're slicing cake.
Say the US wants to avoid at all costs.
We're slicing cake.
Say the US wants to avoid at all costs.
We're slicing.
Gaddafi didn't give up. In the months leading up to the military intervention, he called on African and Muslim nations to join together to create this new currency that would rival the dollar and euro. They would sell oil and other resources around the world only for gold dinars. It's an idea that would shift the economic balance of the world. Countries' wealth would depend on how much gold they have, not how many dollars they trade. And Libya has 144 tons of gold.
Welcome everyone to Thando Radio Show, brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network. I'm your host, Dave from LA, coming to you live from FEMA Region number 6. And today is Monday, February the 27th, 2017. We have a live show for you today. Looking forward to bringing you that show. And so looking forward to that. And at any time, if you'd like to get in on the conversation, don't hesitate. Give us a call, 866-510-9025, 866-510-9025. Also, let's jump into, before we do that, let's get to some of the business of the day before we get into the show. Everyone, you already know we need to continue to support Black Talk Radio Network and all of the programs that are brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network. And you can do that by going to www.blacktalkradionetwork.com. That's the website for this network. And then you'll see on the far right-hand margin, you'll see the donation icon that's there. And all you have to do is just press the icon and then give some of your financial energy to ensure that this network is continued to bring you what you have deemed as being necessary and important. So check that definitely out and be a part of this network. As I always say, make sure you feed the roots instead of just eating the fruit, and so that we can have this network going forward so that it will continue to do what it's been doing so well and continue to grow. So check that out. It's right there on the website, as give some of your financial energy so that this network can continue. Also, Black Talk Radio Network has established a social media outlet known as BTR Community. BTR Community is a social media network where you can go and make all of your social media activities posts. You can actually highlight yourself, your business, an event that you think that needs more public exposure, needs more eyeballs, needs more attention, things that you are doing. You could do that within BTR Community. You don't have to worry about the system using that to data mine and to get information about who you know, where you go, and telling everything about yourself and everyone around you. You know, that's what that whole mainstream media, social media outlet is about, especially for what's going on in the future, which we're going to be talking about in today's world. It's so much more easier and much more efficient. This is why they call one of the outlets Facebook, because of face recognition. They can recognize you from your face because you tell everything about you and everybody else. So go to a place where that's not what the overall intent is, and you don't have to worry about being adversely affected for your views, your comments, or what you've been posting, or what you think. You can do that without any harm. So go to BTR Community at www.btrcommunity.com. And you can get there that way, or you could just go to the website for Black Talk Radio Network, and it's underneath the donation prompt that's there, and it's only $24 a year for membership into the BTR community. It's the only place that I post. Hopefully that's where you will be, and that's where we can establish some collective prudence and do things collectively among ourselves. So that's where I am, and it's been nothing but beneficial to me. So definitely want to for you all to go there. Also, if you're interested in acquiring precious metals, you can do that by going to, which is Real Money. And there was I was just checking out some things on CNBC, an argument over which is better, Bitcoin or gold. And so by far is Bitcoin. Was my man Peter Schiff was talking about it, but he was really, from what I could see, he did a serviceable, as always, a great job, but it's no question at all. So, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Tomorrow's show is going to be, we're going to do the table of preparedness. We're going to do protection, and we're going to do protection around the money aspect of it and how you can protect how you can protect your labor. Very, very important, and that will be a part of it tomorrow. So we'll be doing the table of preparedness, and the table of preparedness is food, water, shelter, protection, and energy. You have to have the table of preparedness in order for you to be, able to seize on opportunities and for you to be thoroughly prepared for whatever happens at any level. If you have the table of preparedness taken care of, you can deal with pretty much anything, and actually you can take advantage of opportunities while everyone else is scrambling just to survive. And so you don't have to do that. So we'll be talking about that, and that's what we're going to be doing on Tuesdays. Tuesdays is the table of preparedness. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be protection, and that side of protection is going to be the overall protection of your energy, your labor, and financial protection. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. Very, very important. So check out tomorrow's show. All right, so go to Prosperity Mint, where you can save as a king or a queen, or you can save as a lady and a gentleman, and you do not have to save as a slave, as most everyone is paid, that you know and I know is paid in a slave's wage. That is a piece of paper that has no intrinsic value. So So go to Prosperity Mint, check out what's there in inventory, then email wolf6pack1 at gmail.com, wolf6pack1 at gmail.com, and leave a number so someone can definitely get back with you to help you and to explain the proper way in purchasing and what it is that buying process is all about. So some great things that's going to be coming there relatively soon to Prosperity Mint, and looking forward to some of that stuff that's going to be there. Okay, so also we have coming up, I'm going to jump right into the new, jump into the news. But before we do that, on March the 25th, 2017, in next month, coming up very shortly here, is going to be the Family Business Private Wealth Seminar that's going to be hosted by the Volt Media Group in Dallas, Texas, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening. I will be one of the presenters. There will be other presenters. This is a great opportunity for you to leverage yourself accordingly and to seek and to acquire all of the necessary information to protect yourself in a way that gives you great leverage and gives your family leverage to where you can establish some real prosperity, and you can you protect yourself what has been done, financial protection that has been proven, has been around for a very long time, but the everyday person doesn't know. And you've heard about some of this stuff, but you may not know exactly how it works. And you always hear me say you want to control everything and own nothing, because everything that you own is a liability that some other person being not even a living being can actually have litigation brought against that to seize that from you, and it can be repossessed. Well, there are ways and things that you can protect yourself to where you control everything and you own nothing. Nothing can be taken from what you control. And there's a proper way in which to do it, and the leverage that goes along with that, and the information and how to do that, and what opportunities you would have in doing that is so great. Something you definitely need to get to be a part of. Now, that Dallas seminar is limited. So I posted it there in BTR community. And it is, if you need me to text it to you, you can just text me at 951-790-8330, 951-790-8330, and then I will forward you the RSVP, and it's $100 for couples and $125 for single tickets. Reason being is that they want you to bring someone with you. A family member, a close friend. This is better that we share this information on multiples. And the word couple does not mean you have to be married. It's just there has to, preferably a relationship. But preferably, this is if you would bring someone in your family. This is really it's family, business, private wealth. Okay, very, very important because it's going to be talking about how you can protect your family from family business side and how to establish a family business protection and everything that's relative to today's world. And that's going to be critical going forward. If you notice, it's the families that own it's the families that control everything. They own nothing. That's why they have great, great leverage. So come on to Dallas and be a part of this. $100 for couples and $125 for singles, especially if you're traveling. That does help a little bit for those of you that are traveling and bringing in family. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you all. You know who you are. Been talking to some of you about this actual seminar. Looking forward to it, and believe me, it's going to have some very, very dynamic information, and the presenters are phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. All right, so see you in Dallas, March the 25th, 2017, next month. So come on to Dallas and get this information and start to apply it to your life to protect yourself, your family, and those that you have yet not named. And I think it's so important to do that because investing is about establishing a measure of prodigious savings for the future, even beyond generations that you don't know yet. That is what prosperity is all about. But see, in today's world, they've taught us to be, starving for paper, and that means that you only just really care about yourself because it's a slave's wage. It diminishes and steals your energy. That's why we act the way we act around it. So, very, very important. First article, let's jump into what's in the news. And I think I could do it. Let me pull up inside. Okay, cool. So let's go into what's in the news. First article. And this one, this comes up. I sent this from The Guardian. Trump's real attack on the freedom of speech, on free speech, will not be televised. And it says undefined fascism at its finest. So check out that article where I sent that one. Next article where I sent as well. It says, suit says car makers knew of the faulty airbags for years. Heck yeah, they knew about those faulty airbags, but they weren't going to fix them because it's too much for them to fix. And yeah, this is definitely. And I want to say one of the things that's really, really important, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad Rod sent this. Be careful of cars because a lot of cars were flooded out in California, and they're going to be moving around the country. Make sure you know how to check for a car that has flood damage. So check that out. Very, very, very important that you know that and be ready for that. So don't get taken. Next article, Rod sent from AP News. Supreme Court, skeptical of sex offenders' social media ban. Check out that article. And it's Rod says, watch your children when using Fedbook, Twitter, etc. Without a doubt, they allow pedophiles to use these sites. Just plain despicable. Yes, very, very true. So true. Next article. I don't like to post anything from this site, but sometimes information is important, and information is extremely important. But I'm gonna tell you, information with power. Now that's where you get leverage. Now, and you think about what is power. What's the most powerful thing? What is power? I've always defined power as the execution of your free will. It's nothing more powerful. Executing your free will with knowledge, Now you're creating leverage. Very, very important. So, but sometimes if there's some good information about some stuff, I will even break some of my rules. So I won't say where this came from. Haha. Well, it's already posted there. This came from Breitbart. Northern California snow melt crisis as temperatures rise into the 70s. So that's going to cause a major, major problem for the spring runoff in California. It's not over in California. So continues. Next article. This one comes from the Patriot Chronicles PT. Maine drops 9,000 from food stamp SNAP after they refuse to comply with the work requirements. This comes from the Patriot Chronicle. Check out that article. This is going to speed up. This is what you're going to see as this overall economic displacement starts to spread throughout the country. This is just the beginning. Next article. This one comes from Bloomberg. Trump tells large health insurers to expect something special tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you, this is going to be critical for them and everyone else. But there's a lot that's unfolding financially, and we're going to try to get you up to speed on all of that. So check that out. That came from Bloomberg. Next article, very, very true. It's from Bloomberg. As Wall Street thrives, America's little guys chokes on paperwork. Small businesses are getting a shrinking share of the lending pie from QE. Very, very true. So these are things that you need to know what's going on, and there's a reason for it all, ladies and gentlemen, because they want to maintain the overall acquiring asset, and the asset that's most desired. One of the most desired assets on this planet is human resource. That would be you, ladies and gentlemen. So in subjugation and enslavement and to stealing of your energy. So check out that article. Next article comes from Reuters. Iran holds naval war game amidst rising tension with the U.S. And actually what Iran did yesterday and some of their naval activities yesterday is that they actually test launched a cruise missile. I think it was from a submarine. So this whole thing is starting to really, really start to grow. Man. Okay. So I missed so many of the daggone. Sorry about that. Let me get back into what's in the news. One second. I post so much stuff that it doesn't show everything when I post it, so I got to just go back and double click it. So that was something that really that was critical, and this whole thing with Iran is starting to really, really, really start to unfold. So next article, let me see if I caught up. Next article comes from en. Fars News is an Iranian one, and I said the purge. And of course, my internet just slipped on me. Hold on 1 second. Gag on it. So I will be glad when this internet problem is no longer. Let me see if I can move into, because I have a backup for the backup, because the backup don't always back up. So, all right, so next article comes from, okay, here it is. It comes from en.farsnews.com. And I said the purge is unfolding. And I said you have to read Iran, and the title of it is Iran's Ahmadinejad throws his weight behind Trump's truck. Go on. Ahmadinejad throws weight behind Trump's tough stance against Washington political elite. And the former president of Iran wrote a article a letter is over, it's pretty extensive, pretty good writing. Check out what he wrote, what Ahmadinejad had wrote, and very, very telling. And, a lot of people won't like it because it speaks to real truth that's there. So check out that and see what you think. But it tells me, and it gives you the real clue that the purge is definitely unfolding as we speak. So check out that article. Next article comes from the Business Insider. But before we do that, for the FARS News, you're going to have to find that, and that article came out on February the 26th, and it's Iran's Ahmadinejad throws weight behind Trump's tough stance against Washington political elites. That's where you need to find it. Great, great article. Don't skip it. Definitely check that out. It's worth your while, especially if you're someone that wants to know where things are going and how they're going to get there. Okay? So next article comes from Business Insider. Tillerson pushed by bipartisan senators to chronicle Russia, Syria's, and Iran's war crimes. This is a part of, is nowhere in the world that the greatest criminal can actually push for anybody else's war crimes without first condemning themselves. So this is definitely going to happen. But you see what this is doing is that it's going to cause the overall displacement and the overall move towards military confrontation between the people that happen to be so-called citizens, and these governments these fraternal orders and these fraternal governments don't fight each other. They send their slaves to do that, and those that are subjugated to them. So check out that article. Next article. This one comes from Business Insider also, and I had to put LMAO. I couldn't stop laughing on this one. Business Insider says, we all need answers. George W. Bush pushes back on Trump's policy, calls for Russian inquiry in rare interview. But don't need to say much more. Don't need to say much more. And this is all a part of the whole theatrical displacement for what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be in front of it because it's going to affect people, especially here, and it's going to adversely affect them. Next article, also from Business Insider, Trump's budget plan to boost defense spending by $54 billion. One of the things that Trump said during this thing is that we have to start winning wars. Have to start winning wars. Wow, says everything. This is, ladies and gentlemen, and this is all being purposely done, and this is the celebrity figurehead was purposely chosen because it fits the bill for what the system needs to continue to deceive and have you in a fog of deception while they continue to rule and continue to live by your way of life provides for their means of life. So check out that article. Next article comes from Bloomberg. Comes from Bloomberg. I said Bloomberg. Very, very important article, and it's so important that please don't miss this one because we talked about this right after the election. I said that you would definitely see this coming, and what you said, and what was it I said that you would see coming? And I said, knew this was coming. Hello, China. That was my commentary. Mexico warns U.S. It will cut off NAFTA talks if tariffs are added. Why would Mexico do that? Because they can now. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, or part of tomorrow's show tomorrow. This is all setting you up, ladies and gentlemen. See, everyone thought that Mexico is a very strategically placed and has strategical importance globally, economic-wise, because of the assets that they have and they control and where they're located, geographically and geopolitically. They have all of the leverage. Hate to say it, not the U.S. They outmaneuvered the U.S. This is why when the celebrity figurehead was going on his tirade, trying to be the boss, being the boss and roughhousing different people, Mexico did the smartest thing. Kept quiet, let him say what he's going to say, let him play the role. And what did they do after they hung up the phone? They called China. To China. You know this trade, this global trade that you're doing, is one belt, one road, the new Silk Road? Well, you know what? Mexico would like to be a part of that. And I think it would be beneficial to both sides. And boom, this is why you're starting to see Mexico push back. But it's going to be even further. Mexico is actually considering seizing companies in U.S. companies for the overall NAFTA and the wall incident. This is all the setup. And most people would say, ignorantly would say, that the Mexico needs the United States. No, it's the other way around. I mean, it's been that way for a very long time. And you're about to see that majorly as this displacement and divestment starts to happen. We'll talk about that definitely tomorrow, so we'll check that out. And like I said, I knew this was going to happen, knew it was going to happen. Next article from Sputnik News. Germany's, let me see. This comes from Sputnik. Germany's, let me move this down. Faction, Germany's fiction chief vows to tough response if Trump imposes tariffs on the EU products. This whole thing, this protectivism that is being pushed around to, here in the States, is causing exactly what we said it would happen, ladies and gentlemen, the purge. Every country is going to purge themselves from the United States. Why? Because economically, geopolitically, trade-wise, they have to. Military-wise, they have to. Why? Because they're not bullied or afraid of the U.S. anymore. They're switched. The system has switched. And the switching of the system may seem like it's good, but it's never good. It is only going to strengthen the overall subjugation and enslavement globally if we're not keen to what the system is really doing. System created the United States and all of these governments, so it can dissolve them, or it can minimize them, or it can magnify its influence or dilute its influence based off of what their objectives are. And it's the objective of the system now to divest itself of the United States, and to have that divestment perpetuate and to propel and to give momentum into controlling more of the human resource. So that's what's really going on, and that's what the system and mainstream media and the system doesn't want you to make ready for, but that's what we give you here at Thando Radio Show. Next article from Sputnik News. Unpredictability of Trump's policy pushes Latin America in China's hands. Told you. And this is going everywhere. So check out this, and we'll definitely talk about this some tomorrow as well. Next article from Sputnik News. Italian companies to continue investing in Russian economy despite sanctions. My thing went blank, but I think that's what that said. Yes. Move this up. Sorry about that. So what's happening? The U.S. has imposed sanctions on Russia that nobody's following now anymore. Why? Nobody's listening. This is very, 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 very deadly. It's just like you working at a job. When they stop sending you emails and stop including you in different things, you know that they are about to fire you. Well, the world is firing the United States. And here are the examples and the proof. This substantiates and validates that the world is moving away from the United States. And ladies and gentlemen, what that means is that it is going to be your energy that they're going to be seizing and stealing by force and by fear and by surrenderance. So check out that article. Next article from Sputnik News as well. New energy project provides unprecedented level of trust between Russia and Iran, and is only going to continue as other countries jump on board. Also from Sputnik News, Saudi Arabia turns to Iraq in search of a mediator to establish ties with Iran. Saudi Arabia turns to Iraq in a search for a mediator to establish ties with Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not getting what we're showing you here and what's in the news, this means that this is very financially detrimental to you and your family and the community if you're not prepared for it. Everyone is divesting themselves. Let me tell you what this really means. Saudi Arabia is going with Russia, China, the BRIC nations against the United States. And that means that people are going to get nervous, people are going to get scared, people are going to get mad, and they are going to get irrational, and they're going to do things. Now you know why that military budget of $54 billion has jumped up, because they plan on using that military. Don't matter. They already lost. Already lost. So check out that next article. This is an Iranian news agency, and this is 3.irna.ir. 70 foreign companies to attend International Steel exhibit in Iran. 70 countries, and these are the major 70 countries that are going to Iran. But the U.S. isn't invited. Very critical. Next month, in a couple of days, 2 days, Iran is going to be dropping their overall use of the U.S. dollar. Critical. Next article from the same organization, Iran, Malaysia, to boost trade cooperation in local currency. Dropping the dollar, ladies and gentlemen. And they're going to pass it to you. Those worthless pieces of note, that worthless promise, they're going to say, no. We don't trust you. Give it to somebody that does trust you. And that'd be in your own country. Give it to them. So check out that. Next article from Reuters. No debt relief for Greece. Germany's deputy finance minister says. He basically said Berlin, Greece, must not be granted a bail-in that would involve creditors taking losses on their loans. So check this out. They're going to bail them in. They are going to bail them in for sure. So check out that. So check out that article. Next article, this is Brother Bragg sent this on Friday. Arizona Senate votes to seize assets of those who plan, participates, and protest that turn violent. Why? Because they know that you're going to be in an uproar relatively soon by way of their coaching, by way of their leading, by way of their corralling, by way of their shepherding, by way of their coaching, by way of their agenda. They are going to create the crisis that you're going to be responding in, and this is what they're going to do. This is such a setup, and this is why it's so important to be at the family business private wealth, because of what this article just was talking about. Arizona sets to vote. Senate votes to seize assets from those who plan, participate in protests in violence, in protests that turn violence. Let's just read this real quick. Claiming people have been paid to riot. Republican state senators voted. And see what they try to say, that they was talking about George Soros. No. They talking about you. You just being there, and it's going to be from you just being there, you just being in the area, or you just living in the area. This is NDAA and Patriot Act. So it goes on. Claiming people are being paid to riot. Republican state senators voted Wednesday to give police new powers to arrest anyone who is involved in a peaceful demonstration that may turn bad. Are you out of your mind? But yes, when you move into a fascist state, that's what you do. Even before anything actually happens, SB 1142 expands the state's racketeering laws, now aimed at organized crime, to include rioting. Well, they need to throw them all themselves in jail. And, this is a part of the whole thing. Now, Arizona is passing some laws that are very important and relevant. But see, that's for those that know and for a selected few. But this is for the masses. Under the auspice that they're just targeting, they're going to say, well, we promise it's just going to be here. This is so, this wouldn't hold up in court, but the courts are going to change, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why any right that man gives you can be repossessed. The great creator doesn't give you rights. Gave you inalienable abilities. That's your promise. So that's what's in the news, and we're going to jump into today's show. And this is critical, this article right here, and I want to start with, let me think, did I miss anything? No, I don't think I missed anything. Okay, So we're going to jump into today's show. If you'd like to get in on the conversation at any time, don't hesitate. Give us a call, 866-510-9025, and then hit **. We'll see you in queue, and we'll bring you up. 866-510-9025, and hit **. We'll bring you up. What I want to do is, last Friday, we looked at economically what happened in the Weimar Republic. And today's show is going to be about... One second. Today's show is history repeating. Is America current day Germany only worse? Is America current day Germany only worse? Is the question. And I say yes, the history is repeating itself. America is, and I meant to put currently today Germany. Yes, it is. It definitely is. And we need to look at, let's go back to the Weimar Republic and see what was happening and how it turned into the Third Reich of the Nazis taking over and everything else. And you see all of the conditions and environments that are happening right here. And you will see people around you. You may even see some segments of yourself, but you will definitely see what's happening here now because they're just repeating it. That's all they're doing. And this law that they're trying to pass is a mark of that because you've always lived in a fascist state. You always have. Whenever you pay for your birthright, that's fascism. That's when corporations and personhood supersedes your living qualities. Not every person is a living being. But every living being has intrinsic value, intrinsic wherewithal. And that's what was created by the great creator. Everything that man only creates the state of personship. And I'm not a respecter of person, I respect people. And this is the magnification of that personhood starting to grow to where it starts to subjugate and enslave people, human resource. This is why it's so important that this family business private wealth center, because it actually works for so you could establish yourself in the opposite direction. But in actuality, the legalization of what happens there was to be malevolent, but you can use it in a benevolent way. Very, very powerful. So before we get there, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. And let's take a look at this article real quick. Arizona, this comes from Capital Times out of Arizona Capital Times, ACT. Arizona Senate votes to seize assets for those who plan participate in protests that turn violent. Claiming people are being paid to riot, Republican senators voted Wednesday to give police new powers to arrest anyone who was involved in a peaceful demonstration. Right there, it's over. It's completely. This is why, if you continue to vote, you continue to play by their rules, they will rule. You're playing a rigged game. You're throwing loaded dice. You're playing a game that's already fixed. And for those of you that took the precious metals class, you know what I mean by that. Hint, hint. The fix is in. It's all rigged. Completely. Article goes on. That may turn bad even before anything actually happens. SB 1142 expands the state's racketeering laws, now aimed at organized crime, to include rioting. And it redefines what constitutes rioting to include actions that result in damage to the property of others. But the real heart of the legislation is what the Democrats say is the guilt by association. It's not even guilty by association. This is plain overextending your abilities. This is legalizing crimes against humanity. And the Democrats and the Republicans are both one left wing and a right wing, both keep the same bird flying. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. How you stop falling for it? Stop giving them energy. Give your energy and be more productive in your energy and take it elsewhere. But the heart of it says, but the heart of the legislation is what Democrats say is guilty by association and giving the government the right to criminally prosecute and seize the asset of anyone who's planned a protest and everyone who participated in it. That's let me move this down. And what's worse, said Senate Steve Farley, a Democrat from Tuscany, is that the person who have not broken a window targeting triggered the claims that of a riot may actually now be a member of a group, but someone might be a member of a group, but someone from the other side, infiltrators, say telling on themselves, was involved. And see, let me tell you why this is so important. It's so important because these are more and more avenues and opportunities to repossess what you've been so willing and we've been so willing to give our lives for, inclusion into this so-called system. The problem is not the system. The problem is the system isn't corrupt. As corrupt as it is corrupt, but it really, the extent of its corruption lies in all of its participants. Into a very strong account, we are responsible for this system. It's our fault. Because we've done so much to uphold it without looking at it for what it truly is. It is a facade. It is a lie. It is destructive. It is genocide. So I don't want to go too much in because I want to go into today's show. So check this out. But this stuff is only expanding. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to play something for you guys about moving into a fascist state. We've already been in a fascist state. It's just that the fascist state is going to make itself more apparent to you by divide. It already has, but anybody that started to participate into these activities that the mainstream media is pushing, thinking that you're somehow included in this whole thing, not really looking at this thing from a standpoint of your sovereignty and self-determination, but your inclusion into an organization. Once they classify you, once you allow yourself to be classified, once you allow yourself to play by their rules, you lose your self-determining direction. You're being deceived and misled in a way. You're being coached. And what they do, they've done it so wisely, they appeal to your pride of life. They appeal to your pride of life. And then this is why people can't talk about religion, can't talk about politics, and can't talk about race without it nearly going into a fight. Because both sides are doing nothing more than killing themselves and upholding the system that chose the side for them to take. Ain't your fight. Now, do you need to respond to it? Yes, but it should be responded to, in my estimation, from a position of advantage and from your sovereignty and self-determination. But if you give into it, you give into that same energy that it creates, that same atmosphere that it creates, that same environment, those same conditions, under those same means, you have just become the purveyor of violence, subjugation against humanity. And most of us don't even look at it that way. Because it's up to you to decide. However you decide to look at it is your choice. Up to you. I would say, do what's in your resonating harmonic frequencies' best interest. And don't account and don't think from the standpoint of what you've been schooled. So this is how you start to move into a fascist society. It's a measure of a slow, methodical destabilization, and that is exactly what's happening now. And this is going to be far worse than in Germany. When I play this, I'm going to start off with, there was something that an individual that is highly recognizable for so-called great wealth. They established some tech. They were a tech giant. You could kind of figure out who it is. I don't like to say these individuals' names. Well, I'm going to have to say it in here. It's going to be Bill Gates. Bill Gates said something very important at the Munich Strategical Conference that they had in Munich. And there was a reason why he was there. There's a reason why he was there. And we're going to play what it was that he said. And if you've been listening to the Thando radio show, you already know. You already know what this individual is all about because we've classified it for so long. And the programs that you're going to start to see that are going to start to come up are going to be more blatant, more boastful, with bigger moves. And so I'm going to play two things. How much time we got? Okay, cool. I'm going to play two things. Which in the first, before you hear any music, and I'll play something from the History Channel about Germany. This came from the History Channel. And now there's a lot of propaganda. Everything that's on mainstream media is propaganda. You just have to shift through it and realize for you to determine what is really being said and how do these people really operate? What is their modus operandi? How do they operate? Because if I know how they operate, I know their language, I know what their intentions is, then I can never, ever fall for the traps that they lay. I can walk around with my eyes closed and miss many of their traps. But I'll miss all of their effective traps because my mind will never, ever, ever be captured. My free will never, ever be captured. That should be that's the overall plan of a warrior. So Bill Gates said something very telling about the agenda. And it had really to do with the extermination. And it gave a number, 30 million in a year. Didn't say for how many years, but you'll hear it. This is the agenda, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be far worse than what history told you about Germany in the Third Reich. They never left. They're still here. And this is going to be far, far worse. So what I want to do, I'm going to jump into these because I think it's very critical that we know and hear the similarities. Hear the same plans. Look at the same tools because the objective is the same. So I'm going to play this and then then we'll come back. And if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate. Give us a call. We are going to take a commercial break at the top of the hour. Then we'll come back and jump right back into this. And then once we stop, we'll open up the phone lines. Give us a call, 866-510-9025. Then hit *, 866-510-9025. Hit *, once we end the presentation. Okay, here we go. This is Bill Gates.
Whether it occurs by the quirk of nature or at the hand of a terrorist, epidemiologists showed through their models that a respiratory spread pathogen would kill more than 30 million people in less than a year. And there is a reasonable probability of that taking place in the years ahead. It's hard to get our minds around a catastrophe of that scale, but it has happened. In 1918, a particularly virulent flu strain called the Spanish flu killed over 50 million people, more than World War I. The fact that a global pandemic has not occurred in recent history shouldn't be a mistake for evidence that it won't occur. Even if the next epidemic is not on the scale of that 1918 flu, we have to consider the social and economic turmoil that even a smaller sized epidemic would create. We saw this with Ebola as it got into the urban centers of the 3 affected countries, and it was only by diverting polio resources that we avoided it getting into the urban areas of Nigeria. Whether it occurs by the quirk of nature or at the hand of a terrorist, epidemiologists...
Okay, I played that twice. The quirk of nature. Well, there is no quirk of nature that they have. This is their climate change, ladies and gentlemen, because all of these, the pathogens that they have now are created in laboratory. And this is telling you what the system has in plan for you. This was done at the Munich Security Conference. The Munich Security Conference. And then it's very, very important when you watch these individuals, watch what they say, watch what they don't, know what they're all about. This dude is a eugenics, all about depopulation and streamlining the overall human population so that it can be more controlled for the corporations. He said it so many times in so many words. And so now he's in Munich Security Conference talking about by a quirk of nature. No, because they know that they plan on being that natural interjection, or they talking about themselves, the ones that created the biological warfare, the pathogens, the diseases that attack the synthetic diseases that attack the natural body. Most of them have been created in the laboratory for the purpose as a tool for their objective to control human resource. And I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a popular subject among people because people are too scared because they're scared to be sovereign because they've been taught to be a fearful slave since inception into this civilized slavery community. And to play your part, get in line, do what you say, and obey. Nothing has ever been about developing your individual unique abilities and talents and collective prudence. It's always been about you paying for your birthright, you breathing, you being here. In God we trust. That's what this system has always been about. But it's going to take you to see different and to energize yourself differently. And then from that, others will see how you resonate and the frequency in which you resonate. And they may decide that, you know what, that's more sustainable, more sincere, and more in line as to who I am. And that's what I choose to do. So be you. Very, very important. Don't be someone that's holding the persons in front of you's shirt and following them blindly. So just really wanted to point that part of it out. This is a very diabolical plan, and they've been using this for a very long time because it works. And this is, from here, the depopulation, what they call climate change. There is climate change. There definitely is climate change. They're changing the climate artificially or by act of technology of man. They're changing the climate for their agenda and their objective. They're not changing the climate for the benefit of humanity, for the betterment of life on this planet. If that was the case, why are we a class zero society? Where is the evidence of anything being benevolent on this planet? There is none. You have to look at the individual. You can't look at the institutions to find it. Think about the institutions and ask the critical question. Are they full of stuff? You'll see. If you're honest and you investigate from a standpoint of being sincere, you'll say yes. Not hard for you to find. Just got to ask. So I think we got a caller in queue. Heard the thing. Oh, yeah, we do. Roz, what's going on, brother?
Peace. How you doing?
What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm good. You might hear some background noise because I can't stay on too long. I'm trying to walk part of the way home so I can catch up with my wife. But how I know this is a diabolical setup is when Bill Gates mentions the Ebola crisis, but he doesn't mention, and for those who have seen the most recent Hidden Colors, they discussed the fact that Ebola virus was released by the CIA. There was an agent who had a briefcase with a patented virus. So it was patented by the U.S. government, and he threw the briefcase into a river in Liberia, and that is when it spread. So he is talking about them using illnesses to kill off a minimum of 30 million, probably tens of millions more than that. And that's something for people to really ponder on. The other thing is, earlier today, I listened to one of the most recent episodes of BTR News, and Scotty was talking about black people's investment in the deportation of other non-white groups. And a guy who he had played a clip from, a black male, discussed the fact that he felt that foreigners were taking black people's jobs. They also discussed the murder of black people by Mexican gang members. And I said years ago, once the number of white people dwindled to the point of psychological terror for them, that they would pander to the so-called Latino community in order to use them as the new variation of what white will become to continue their white supremacist agenda. And this is what we're seeing playing out. Because when you study Latin history, what they did was they did wholesale rapes of the dark-skinned black and non-white people in those areas and created a enumerated caste system. And everyone gravitates towards wanting to be white or something close to white to avoid oppression. And these are the people who are killing black people. These are these gang members. They're indoctrinated in that mindset. And as a result, they're creating an issue where, like you said, they're behind the scenes, and the people who are killing each other are non-white people. And I agree with Neely Fuller. There's nobody coming into this country taking our jobs. It's the people in charge that are giving these jobs to these people. But the psychology of it is they're doing to us what they did with white people when black people migrated from the South during the Great Migration to the North. White people were under the impression that it was black people stealing their jobs. And it wasn't. They were escaping terrorism in the South, hoping for a better life in the North. But the ideology they propagated to the white people in the North was that black people were coming up north to take their jobs. And there's countless riots.
Hold on, Roz. We got to get ready to go to a commercial. Hold on, because I definitely want to touch that because it's very, very important. It goes right into what today's show is. Definitely, so true. And you really need to.
No problem.
I missed it. I saw Scotty had posted that this weekend. I wanted to get in, but I was off at the somewhere where my I was off grid, so I missed it. But yeah, listen, everyone. We'll be right back. Hold on, Roz. Give us 1 minute to go through the commercial break. Listen, everyone. You're listening to Thando Radio Show brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network. If you'd like to get in on the conversation, after this, we're going to talk to Roz. Then we're going to jump into the second part of the show. Very important. Then we'll open the phone lines back up. 951. 866-510-9025. 866-510-9025. Hit star. You're listening to Thando Radio Show. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Okay.
Black Talk Radio since 2008, providing new black media for the masses.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Thando Radio Show, brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network. If you'd like to get in on the conversation after we talk to Roz and after we play this, and then we'll open up the phone lines, we'll let you know. Give us a call, 866-510-9025, 866-510-9025, then hit star. Roz, we're going to go back to you. And,
yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, pick back up where you were. Then I wanted to definitely comment because this plays right into what the second part of this hour is going to be of the show.
No problem. And another clip that, or another discussion that Scotty had in that same program was the fact that in South Africa, they are attacking, abusing other Africans from Nigeria, from Somalia. When they come to South Africa to start their businesses, they're burning their businesses down, and the same premise is being used, that these black people are coming from other parts of the continent to steal your job in South Africa. So basically, they're setting up a situation where they're turning all of us against each other, while the puppet masters are continuing to do what they've always done. And it's because people don't have a thorough understanding of history and the psychopathology of the people who have dominated us for the last 2,000 years. So that's what I wanted to drop, just to give people something to think about, so that hopefully their perception will expand and they might do some research if they're of the same feelings that these foreigners are coming here to take our jobs. No, they're being given away by the people in control to get us angry with these people who are innocent people who are just trying to survive like we are. And as we're arguing, killing, and fighting with each other, they're continuing, like Bill Gates said, to prepare to kill at least 30 million of us in one pot, and probably hundreds of millions down the road, if not billions. So thank you so much for taking my call. I'll mute my line, and hopefully down the road I'll try
much love, much love, much respect. And you know what? And I'm going to tell you, tactically, in the tactical world, what Roz just described, and we've been talking about this for a very long time here on Thando and on Black Talk Radio Network. In the tactical world, for all of you that have some familiarity with tactics and everything else, there's something called a flashbang. It's a diversion. Also, for those of you that have been in the military, you know there's the ambush, and then there's the false ambush. That's exactly what Roz was explaining, and it's so true. A flashbang is a loud noise that flashes, and then it diverts your attention to what is really going to be attacking you from a different direction. And that's exactly what is happening, because it causes immediate, it strikes your fear, and you respond to it fearfully right away. And that's what this is here. This whole immigration thing is, and we've been trying to get this across to everyone. Don't fall for it. These are the tactics that have been used for centuries and millennia to divide, to control, to manipulate, and to get surrenderance of you. They want you to think like a soldier who takes orders, but they don't want you to establish your overall authority as a warrior. Because a soldier can never do what a warrior thinks. A soldier can only take orders. A warrior always upholds the sovereignty and self-determination, not only of their individual self, but they respect that sovereignty and self-determination so much, they want to ensure that all others have that same beautiful quality, even when it's one that is misused. As long as your freedom, your overall encroachment stops, where my sovereignty and self-determination begins. And what's happening with this immigration thing, and you'll see it in this next clip as well, is that they allowed this infiltration when this whole thing started with the refugees flooding into Europe. We came on and we told you this is a Trojan horse, and it's going to be used here and everywhere, because this is the preferred method that they want to use right now. As Raj said, they took the jobs from individuals and gave it to others so that they would do what? So that the two would look at each other as one that they need to compete with. And that psychologically became a prideful emotion that they had to keep, and they taught their children to live by that. It's us versus them. And those are the ones you need to look at as the threat. This is why what's unseen is more real than what's seen. And this whole setup is that this was the system. Now the system is saying, hey, we got an immigration problem. No, we got a system problem. Because there is no, in my eyes, there is no such things as borders. That was created on a map, and every map is a battlefield objective plan of severing the assets so that you can control and conquer them. they brought in by the choice of them to destabilize at the proven time. And then now all of a sudden it's a big problem. And like we said, what was it, last week? It's like a tapestry. To try to unwind that means the whole thing will come untied. Roz was absolutely right. I missed Scotty's show this weekend. I saw it, but I know that was going to be a good one that Scotty was doing. This is a tactic, ladies and gentlemen, towards a tactic of control, a tactic of manipulation, and a tactic to get you to surrender. And most people will fall for it because they fall for the emotional side. They've done it with every single living species on this planet. They've turned you versus the animals, and the animals see you as the greatest threat, and they always run from you. And this is what's happening here. This is a part of the agenda. What I want to do now is, just so you can see this, we need to look at what happened in Germany, and so that you can see what's happening right here. But the overall scale is much bigger. Much, much bigger. And what's at stake is much bigger. Why? Because the population was different. The population now was exceedingly more now than it was then. The stakes are much higher. They feel their grip. They're losing their grip of control over people. So when that happens, this is when they bring the pain, bring in the conflict, bring in the destabilization, bring in the crisis, and then we'll knock off all of those that threaten the system. And we won't do it. We don't have to do it. We'll get our minions to do it. Our subjects will do it. Our human resource will do it for us, because we've already created the unamicable condition to where they can't stand each other. They already have the great hatred of each other. So all we have to do is to tell them to sick them, bite them. We just got to let them off the leash, and they will attack. That's what's happening. So what I want to do here, really pay attention. This comes from the History Channel, and I think it's very important as to show where we are right now. And what I would ask that you would do is not to listen to this from a standpoint of looking back at history, but look at it from the standpoint of history repeating itself. Find the conditions that are current right now, and you'll see it everywhere. Here we go. This is from the History Channel, the rise of the Third Reich.
Entering the final phase of victory over Hitler's Nazis, Yank armies swarm across western Germany, bringing devastation to cities of the Reich. From all sides, Allied might crushes in on the remains of the Wehrmacht, bringing home the horrors of war to the German people as they have never experienced it before.
This was the Allied victory.
But what I want to say, I had to stop real quick, is have an ear of scrutiny of this too. Remember, the mainstream media documented this as what they wanted you to see, and so that they can show you how they wanted you to act at a certain time. But I say learn their language so you will know what their overall objective and their plan is, so that you can know what's in your best interest. This is all a part of the setup. So just wanted to say that. Here we go.
But if you were German, it was your defeat.
And now, we are hated, objects of contempt. We are poor, downtrodden, and despised by all.
Okay, I stopped it right there for a reason. That is the condition and environment that is being set up for the untied states of America. This is exactly what the agenda is here. So here we go.
The German people had known for some time that they would lose the war. And that they would soon be called to account for what had been done in their names.
My fingers are shaking as I write this. Everyone is now turning their backs on Adolf. No one was ever a supporter. Everyone was persecuted, and no one denounced anyone else. What about me? I was there. I breathed what was in the air. It affected all of us.
See, and that was very important in my eyes because it shows the condition that they wanted to have where people will just follow and people say, well, what could I do? I knew it was wrong, but it was nothing I can do about it. Think about everything that's going on. They're always waiting for a leader, always waiting for something else to what are we doing about it? And what do I mean by what are we doing about it? Absent of what they've already conditioned us to do. They tell you that you need to march, you need to do this, you need to vote, you need to do this and do that. That never has changed a darn thing. The most important thing that we could do is to change the way we resonate on everything so that we do not become what we had to endure. That is critical, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And if we are able to see that and stop giving energy to this, it will collapse on itself. You will see how weak it is. The veil will be pulled back on the lying Wizard of Oz, and you'll see that there's not a wizard, it's a deceptor. So here we go.
This is not the story of how Adolf Hitler seized power in Germany. This is the story of how and why the German people gave it to him.
It's easy to throw stones. Easy to sit in judgment when you're in the midst of abundance, roast chicken, and the good life. We do differently, people say. We would long since have shaken off the dictatorship of the Nazi terror. Would they really have?
Some of what you will see has never been shown on American television before. And some of it cannot be shown in Germany, even today. These are their words, their films. This is the rise of the Third Reich. Once been another war. And another German defeat.
end of the war meant husbands restored to wives and life restored to men. But there was no sense of joy, only defeat, anxiety, senseless gunfights, confusion.
If you were German in 1919, your peace was humiliation and suffering. Enforced democracy had resulted in chaos. Money was worthless. Vigilantes ruled the streets. Berlin had become a swamp of depravity. Everything and everyone was for sale.
I had to stop it right there. They showed, when they said everything and everyone was for sale, there was a lady out working the streets. She was around 85 years old. So this is so true. And really, really pay attention. Here we go.
The atmosphere has become revolutionary, apocalyptic. Not only money, but all standards have lost their value. The saviors have appeared everywhere, declaring that they've been sent by God to save the world.
Mystics, magicians, and religious fanatics drew followers desperate for rescue. Each was called a Heiland, or savior. But in German, there is no plural word for savior. There can be only one.
In Munich, there is a corporal who has been causing trouble. They say he has an almost hypnotic...
All right, real quick. I'm sorry I had to keep interrupting, but once again, you heard Bill Gates give that speech at the Munich Security Conference. That was last week. At the Munich Security Conference, they repeat everything that they do because it worked so well before in the past. It's a ritual, a demonic ritual of destruction and control that is being practiced by the system. Just hope that you had caught that part of it where it was out of Munich. So here we go.
Showed through their models.
Take power.
It was the 2nd of September, 1923. Here at this nationalist rally, Adolf Hitler made one of his first appearances on film.
They say he puts up signs at his meetings saying, "No entry for Jews." But he has the most persuasive line about German honor and rights for the workers and a new society. And whether you like him or not, he certainly knows what he wants.
Two months after this film was shot, he would attempt to take over Germany and fail.
November 8th, Hitler tried to incite a revolution from the Union Theater Hall. 16 of
Overnight, Hitler became a national figure. To some magnetic, to others absurd. The Munich savior filled the headlines with a ridiculous attempt to stage a revolution in a beer cellar. In fact, the revolutionaries had been dispersed by police fire as they left the cellar. And that was the end of the matter. But it wasn't. The swastika, or Hakenkreuz flag, carried that day by Hitler's National Socialist Party, was stained with the blood of the fallen. From this point forward, Hitler would call it the flag of martyrs, and use it to inspire a growing following of true believers. Nazis.
I feel electrified. A man by the name of Adolf Hitler has tried to restore honor to the German people. I feel with an increasing certainty that a man has arisen to lead the fatherland towards a brighter future.
Here in Bückeburg, in north-central Germany, film hobbyist Adolf von Hinüber shot this film with his 9.5 millimeter camera. "200 miles away, in Berlin, communists were filming these violent clashes with police. But if you were a loyal follower of Adolf Hitler, you would have been here. It was August 2nd, 1929. And the National Socialists were filming their third party rally, the first here in Nuremberg.
Und dafür!
100,000 Nazis attended.
Suddenly, Adolf Hitler appears. He goes to each man, shaking his hand. There are things one cannot explain, cannot describe. I never stop thinking of him. Sometimes he meets us in our dreams.
In this footage, Hitler consecrates Nazi Party flags by touching them to the Blutfahne, the blood-stained swastika of his failed revolution. The loyalists were dazzled.
People call him a fool and a dreamer and much more. But what you say is true, Adolf Hitler. It is critical to our nation's history that we introduce over 65 million people to the ideas of National Socialism. 65 million National Socialists. Wonderful. Fantastic, this goal.
Most Germans still thought of Hitler as too radical. If
less than 3 months, Wall Street would crash and take the German economy down with it. And within a year, the Nazis would be one of the largest political parties in Germany.
While we descended into misery and called anxiously for a savior.
Okay, so what was that misery that they had fell into? We're getting ready to go to a commercial break. What was that misery that they fell into? Well, we talked about it on Friday. Germany was in debt from World War I, and they had to pay reparations at the Treaty of Versailles. The U.S., France, and England decided what Germany was to pay, and they attached an enormous amount of interest on it. Woodrow Wilson did, and it was known as the Treaty of Versailles, and that caused for the overall economic collapse of Germany because of the Weimar Republic in Germany, because now all of everything that their labor was going out. The energy of their labor was going out. Their overall currency was totally lost all purchasing power because they had so much debt that they had to borrow from the United States. And the debt that they had with the United States was mathematically impossible for them to pay. As a matter of fact, Germany did not finish paying its last reparation until, I believe it was 2014, where they made their last reparation payment. And it was by deflation, then by hyperinflation, that they destroyed the overall will of the people, and then that's when they started begging for a savior that they would obey. And it was all done in the same methodology that has been done over and over and over again. And it is growing now, from idolatry of symbolism to the occultic practices to the overall demonetization and the stealing of your labor to where you're working for nothing at all. And then that's when you're able to get people on their knees to obey. And people will do whatever it is that they need to do. Germany just wanted to be great again. Where have you heard that before? This is how we're getting where we're getting. And the protectivism that they talk about there in the social party, that they wanted to establish a national social party, the same protectivism that you're seeing trumpeted now. Because it works. And they will use it again and again until the people no longer fall for those tricks. We're getting ready to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to listen to 15 minutes more, and then we'll open up the lines. We're going to listen to 20 minutes more, 20 minutes more, and then we'll open up the lines. If you'd like to get in on the conversation, give us a call, 866-510-9025, 866-510-9025. I hope that you see what's going on here is a part of a play that's worked before and is working brilliantly now. You're listening to Thando Radio Show, brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network. We'll be right back after these quick commercial breaks.
Black Talk Radio Network is made possible in part with help from the Black Talk Media Project, a North Carolina-based nonprofit engaged in the production and distribution of independent digital black media. Find out more by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com or blacktalkmediaproject.org and look for the menu tab, Crowdfunding Black Media. Black Talk Media Project, helping to provide you with new black media for the new millennium. You are tuned in to Black Talk Radio, new black media for the new millennium.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Thando Radio Show, brought to you by Black Talk Radio Network. And if you'd like to get in on the conversation, once we open up the phone lines, I will definitely let you know. Give us a call, 866-510-9025, 866-510-9025. Now you see why the name of the topic of this show is History Repeating. Is America Current Day Germany Only Worse? And I would say, yes, it is. So we're definitely going to get back to this, and we will open up the phone lines for your questions and comments. Here we go. One second. Oh, okay. So just let me give me 1 second. One of the things I forgot to say is that there is no coincidence that what you're seeing out of Munich and happened in Munich and what you're seeing in the overall displacement of different things, it is by no coincidence. And this is why, in my opinion, you're going to see the EU totally dissolve and everyone is moving away from the U.S. as they did in Germany. Why? Because that offers the system exactly what it needs to maintain control. And they realize that we don't follow history. And by not following history, we're subject to the fallacies of it. And boy, have we been failing ourselves. So it's really at the point where we really need to think about what is it that we're creating? What is it that we're living by? And how is this, is the system doing what it's been doing? Because it never gave us anything, and it never, ever will. It only will give you subjugation, enslavement, and poverty. Because that's what it needs. Okay, so here we go. Let's get back to it.
3 months. Wall Street would crash and take the German economy down with it. And within a year, the Nazis would be one of the largest political parties in Germany. While we descended into misery and called anxiously for a savior, he emerged like a mountain. Columns march, drums beat, and 100,000 men stand firmly gathered around one man. Now, build up your people, O Master. A new great fatherland awaits. It was 1932. This footage was recorded at the Carnival near Leipzig, Germany. Filmmaker Walter Langer brought his 16mm camera he would marry. The atmosphere was joyful. But beyond these carnival gates, Germany, were tuned in to this radio broadcast. Hitler's largest audience ever.
Reich und Arm, Stadt und Land, Gebildete, Wissende und Unwissende. Sie sind da, Aufgabe der Politik. Kann es nun nicht sein, deshalb sich getrennt zu organisieren?
It's not just to represent one faction.
Aber Aufgabe der politischen Führungsquote sein,
politics.
diese natürlichen Trennungen nun durch ein größeres Ideal, durch eine größere Erkenntnis.
For the greater good.
Die nun selbst allein
In our hands alone
liegt die Zukunft
lies the distance of the German
Denn
people.
wir selbst
And in these hands,
unser Volk, unser Vaterland und unser Führer Heil!
After this speech, Nazi Party offices were flooded with so many membership requests, they had to suspend admissions. Even so, Hitler did not yet control Germany. In 2 weeks, that would change. It was the morning of February 28th, 1933. If you lived in Berlin, you awoke to this. During the night, someone had set fire to Germany's parliament.
Just now, the revolution has begun in earnest. The middle class had been repelled by the roughness and lack of polish by the Nazis. Now, they'd been frightened and won over by the Reichstag fire. To this day, no one is certain who set the fire that destroyed the Reichstag. But Hitler knew who he would blame. His rivals, the communists. The Nazi press said that the Reichstag fire was intended as a signal for communist cells across Germany to rise up and revolt.
They wanted to send armed mobs into villages to commit murder and plunder.
they're talking about sleeper cells. and I had to just stop this real quick. And this is very, very important. I'm talking about sleeper cells. Where have you heard that before? The events of 1933, or February the 28th of 1933, with the Parliament burning, changed the overall direction of the German people to accept a character and the overall nationalistic views of this character. And I would ask you, has there been an event that has changed the direction or an event that has set into motion the mainstream direction that the mainstream media wants you to go? I would say yes, it would happen into New York. And just like they blamed the communists, they had to have a boogeyman and someone to blame it on, knowing that it was done by themselves. Same thing here. They had to have someone to blame it on so that they can get the reaction out of the people that they wanted. And that reaction that they wanted out of the people was they wanted the people to have a measure of fear that's based and simmered in hatred. And that's exactly what has happened there. Nowadays, it's this group, that group, these people, and those people. It's always, I know who did it. It was them. And they're the greatest threat to your overall survivability economically, prosperity-wise, quality of life-wise, physically, and nationally. These are the same tactics that worked well from the Weimar Republic to Germany going into the Third Reich of the Nazi movement. There's a direction in the movement that has been going on for quite a while now, and it's taking its slow, methodical approach, but it's speeding up daily. And until we realize that this same system of the past is rearing its ugly face again, we will fall for it by ignorance. And then by fear, we'll run to it. And it's only a matter of time before the system will have you running in the direction that they want you to go. And ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, that's not going to be to your benefit. It's going to be to your detriment, and it's going to be to the detriment to those that you have yet not named. History repeating itself. And I say it has. And it's a very dangerous time because it's far worse now than it was in the 20s, 30s, in the late teens of 1919 to the end of the war that extended all the way to the displacement of an ideology. So I hope that you were able to see how the tricks, some of them you can see is clear today happening. And it's not by coincidence. But see, the obeying side of what we've been schooled would say, oh, no, that's just a coincidence, or that's conspiracy theory. Or you would look at this from a historical standpoint to look at where the German people went wrong. No, it's not really where the German people went wrong. Where are we going wrong? And never before has the displacement and disinvestment of ourselves been so apparent that it will only lead to the same conclusion that has come to in the past. The system will strengthen its hand in subjugation and enslavement, and it will continue to have a rule of ways and means. Your way of life provides for their means of life. and it's the stealing of your greatest power, your free will. So if you have any questions or comments, just wanted to kind of hold it there. We got a caller in queue. Man, my man, Jambone, what is going on, brother?
I just got off of work, Brother Ren, and just checking out your show, man. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been, brother, and I want to thank you for everything you send. I appreciate we on the same wavelengths, my brother. So what's going on, Jambone?
I got a couple of questions to ask.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the first question is, what are your thoughts, what are your thoughts about, like, when all the smoke clears, what is the overall plan? What is Americans going to do? It could take 10 years, it could take 40 years to get back on our feet, but I think during the Great Depression, I think it took, at least 5 or 10 years for us to get back overall. But I was going to ask that after all the smoke clears, then what is then the second question is going to be, do you think the whole world's going to go to one currency, maybe like a digital currency like the Bitcoin?
Good question. And I'm going to definitely do a show just on that tomorrow. Not exclusively, but around about that. But I'll still answer. I'll still go with your question, Jambone.
Okay, and I got a third question. I don't know if you want to hit those two first, or we want me to answer.
Okay, yeah, let's hit those two first before I forget. Nah, just playing. All right. Okay. First of all, like I said, man, Jambone, thank you for you being you, man. I appreciate you so much. Okay, so how long is it before we're going to? I don't think that. I think it's going to be not the United States of America. It's going to be the untied states of America, because what the overall facing of the so-called economic obligations in the is so immense that what's going to happen is that the what is called the United States will go into receiverships. Different parts of the world will claim things based off of what is owed and what is due from the so-called the Corporation of America, and they're going to seize the assets that dissolved corporation happened. Just like in Germany, you had East Berlin and West Berlin for a while, and you had this and that. That exact same thing is going to happen, because what it's going to do is that it's going to foster and it's going to strengthen the system's hand on the rest of the world. They care about the billions of people in China, so that what they want to do is that they want to control the billions of people of China by looking at, see, America was your overall enemy. You never want to be like them. And we should be taking from them. And it's not just them, it's also other nations in South America, in Europe, in Africa, and everything. They're going to move that and say that this was the Great Satan. So that Great Satan has to pay reparations, and the reparations are going to be even greater than the debt that was owed that they have right now. It is going to have great interest and is not going to be payable. The new Treaty of Versailles, and I believe is going to be the Treaty of, probably is going to come out, instead of a Treaty of Versailles, it's going to be the treaty out of Mexico. Mexico, or out of the treaty out of Venezuela. I believe it's going to be a gas and natural, a asset producing country. It may be a Treaty of Montreal. And what's going to happen is that what you know as the United States will never recover from that, because the system won't want it to until years and years and years later, where they'll have it a cyclical approach where it comes back around. But I don't think it's going to come back around to the so-called Americas for a while. I think it's going to go to China. Then China and Russia go to war, and then China will have so many years, 100 years, 130, 40, 50 years, and then there's going to be a nation out of Africa that's going to come up. They're going to continue to change the hats to control the people. That's what I see there, Jambone. Your next question. What's that, bro?
But that makes perfectly good sense.
Yes, because the United States, the territory here holds a lot of natural resources. So what they're going to do is they're going to seize that, because you have to remember, China is a growing population with technology, and they don't have enough water and food and overall resources to facilitate that appetite. And remember, they're trying to get China into a position of consumerism. First, they're going to let their savings work for them. Then they're going to give them a card and say, oh, you could be a consumer now. You're the greatest beacon of freedom. Same thing that happened here. So that's what I see there. Now, you asked, the second one was about Bitcoin. You said a national currency. What did you say, Jambo?
World currency. One world currency.
Yeah.
And it'll be a digital currency.
Well,
pretty much what it is now.
Yeah. I think they will try to do a digital currency, but it's going to be a new promissory thing. A digital currency is the exact same thing. It's a digital note instead of a physical note. It's a promise to pay. It's a promissory note because it doesn't have any intrinsical value at all. And I always like to put it this way. How you always know if there's a difference between currency and money. You need money. You don't need currency. Reason why you need money is because money was created by the great creator. It's a living entity. It has intrinsical value. Land is money. The production of it is money. The atmosphere is money. Water is money. The precious metals are money. Because just because they exist, they can do things for you. That's money. Cash is not money, it's currency that was created by man. So yeah, I believe that they're going to go to a digital one, but it's going to be those that have real assets will control the digital ones to their benefit, and they will use those to enslave everyone else. Digital is perfect for establishing itself in China and in the Eurasian countries. Why? Because their overall population is so great that they're going to use technology to enslave them. So yeah, they're going to establish a currency, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the digital one. But will it be money? No. Will it enslave like paper does? Yes, it will. But it will enslave even further. Much, much further. And those that can see that and position themselves accordingly, you'll beg everyone, just like Wall Street, and I'm going to play something. Wall Street is begging everyone, and the bankers is begging everyone to get into digital currency. Why? Because it's not real. And then those that will control real assets will tell the fake currency which direction is going today, either up or down. The one that best serves them. So that's what I think you're going to see there. Go ahead with your last question, Jam.
Okay. My last question is about Trump. I don't know if anyone's seen that gold cup that was given to him with the Lady of Liberty with no blindfold, no sword, or no weight scale. And I don't know what type of beverage was shared out of it, but more and more every week, they show that the secret societies are coming out in the open. And I don't know which one that he belongs to, but long story short, it all boils down, like you were saying, like the control of the world, to keep control of everything. And, my speculation is, while all this is going on, this new technology with genetics and manipulation of code DNA with the super soldiers and stuff. I don't know if anyone did research on that, because they even announcing it that China's really been experimenting with super soldiers. But I was going to see about anything with wormhole and portals, because now I found out that there's actually supposed to be portals in the United States. One of the portals supposed to be called Pegasus. It's like a conspiracy theory or a myth because you can only find it in comics so far. But some of my colleagues have been saying, yeah, that stuff really exists. They do have portals in the United States. So when all this stuff takes place, depending on how the smoke clears, what's going to happen when they're talking about using these portals and these genetic codes and so forth? And that's I want to see what your theory is about that.
Oh, man, Jambone, good one. My man Chico Stick has been on. We talked about the portals that are owned, the land in which those portals are controlled by the Vatican and everything else. And so, but you know what, Jambone, because we don't have enough time tomorrow, can you call in tomorrow too?
Sure, I could do that.
Yeah, and we'll pick it up from there on the portals. Yes, I do. I do think that these portals do exist because this is just a part of the regular, a part of the galaxy and the part of the universe that we live in, and it's a lot that's to it. Some of it, in my opinion, is lies, but some of it are definitely there. And so with dimensional movements and everything else, and travel from celestial travel. So we'll touch on that tomorrow, Jambone. Great questions as always, Jam. And I didn't forget my man Jam. So, hey, brother, great questions as always, and I truly, truly appreciate you. I just hate that we ran out of time because we got to get out of here. So, hey, everyone, I just want to say thank you all for listening today. Hope you were able to, to grasp onto something. We'll continue this because I think it's just too important what's going on. And I always say it's never goodbye. It's always we'll see you later. And before you ask for a fortune, make sure to give one away. Much love, much respect. We'll talk to you soon. Peace and love.